BRNT Group CEO Simon Grigenas joins me now. Simon, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
Simon, tell me about BRNT Group. What is your business model? Where do you operate?
So the BRNT Group is a Canadian cannabis design house. We really focus on creating and designing impactful brands in the Canadian landscape, as well as cannabis-related hardware.
Okay, so specifically, you recently announced a deal with Valens who's one of our, Valens Groworks rather, one of our favorites. And tell me about that deal. Use it as an example to sort of demonstrate your revenue model.
Yeah, for sure. So we've had a great relationship with Valens to date, and we saw the potential and the opportunity with the capabilities that their team has and talents around extraction, formulation development, and everything from their processes in their facility. And really, the deal was, a step forward for an unlicensed entity like the BRNT Group to leverage our expertise in brand and hardware, and be able to really focus on the CPG side of the industry and create relationships with consumers and leverage Valens on the back end for the execution of the actual extract in the pens themselves.
So, do you have other clients other than Valens Grow at this point, or is Valens Grow sort of your flagship client right now?
No, so we do have an existing brand in market called BRNT Designs. So it's cannabis accessories around flower consumption. So obviously the first form factor legalized, so everything from storage, preparation accessories to consumption. So that was in market on October 17th of last year. There's approximately in approximately 170 stores now to date, and available in the US and the EU markets as well.
Right. So not to sound like I'm trying to make this any more cruder than it needs to be, but in Canada we have a simple way of sort of relating everything to the mining industry. So this is best described then as a picks and shovels component of the cannabis industry.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. So now the thing I like about this is that being an unlicensed entity, you can cross borders. You can offer your designs to any LP, any extractor anywhere in the world.
Yeah, there's something to be said about being an licensed producer, for lack of a better word. It's nice being able to play in the space where we have that freedom around the art, design, and creativity behind creating the hardware and the brands, and being able to move into new marketplaces without the barriers and restrictions that traditional LPs would see in Canada.
Right. So is your expertise then in industrial design and microengineering and all that stuff, or like where's the brain trust in this company?
Yeah, exactly. So I'd say there's probably three main areas. So it really revolves around art, design, and engineering. Really, those are kind of the matrices, I guess, that our team excels within. So everything
like
from
relationship.
Exactly. So we have our industrial designers, our engineers, supply chain management, everything kind of to oversee audited manufacturing. And then, of course, leveraging Valens for their capabilities in science. So between, art, design, science, and engineering, we kind of see our suite of products come to life.
So do you have products right now in any of the cannabis stores in Ontario, for example?
Yeah, we do. So we are listed with the OCS and as well as the BC government stores. As well as, like I said, approximately 150 to 170 private retailers aside from the government channels. But this will be our first product in market that is actually cannabis containing.
Right. And so getting back to the Valens Grow deal, specifically you're creating extract pens.
Yeah, exactly. So extract pens, obviously, with what's been going on in the U.S. with vape news, it's of utmost importance being, as regulated and as cautious as possible. So everything on going above and beyond Health Canada standards on hardware manufacturing, so holding ISO certifications, restriction to hazardous materials, and everything under the sun. And of course, Valens being accountable to Health Canada as well for lot testing and their QA/QC procedures is really where we thrive. We want to create, a regulated, safe offering that is reliable to consumers at the end of the day, and offer an alternative to all the black market products that are being sold to date.
Yeah, you bet. Okay, so what other sort of delivery systems do you produce apart from extract pens?
Yeah, so vaporization technology is obviously going to be the flagship product. So introducing the Made By brand, which focuses on small format, recyclable, disposable pens, and then moving into some smart vaporizers with closed loop systems. In terms of the products that we currently have, it's mainly around combustion accessories, so for actual smoking, as well as all the preparatory accessories, so everything that you see from grinders to rolling trays and everything in between. So kind of covering that spectrum of ancillary products, and then moving into vaporization specifically.
Sure. So my question is, who are all of the other LPs using to package up and to containerize and deliverize their products and extracts if they're not using you? I'm just curious because that's like, do they do this in-house primarily, or is this the opportunity?
Yeah, for sure. So, like I said, we like to own the brand in the space and own the whole creative marketing and sales component behind it, which is why Valens is a great partner to be able to provide their extract expertise on the back end. A lot of licensed producers do have it in-house. They are ordering, off-the-shelf hardware from, offshore manufacturing, or working with, kind of a third-party entity in the North American market to get their hardware. So you look at, your Green Tank Technologies, Jupiter with Tilt, that just announced some financing today, and kind of similar entities like that, but it's all white label hardware. So because we own, hardware all the way to the consumer-facing brand, we really look to just fill the gaps on the back end with the extraction capabilities, so that it offers us, agility to move into new markets like the US and work with the bigger extraction players down there as well, and still maintain everything around the brand.
So as far as the brand is concerned, is this more, for example, Valens Grow powered by Burnt, or is it more like Burnt powered by Valens Grow and the white label relationship?
Yeah, for sure. So it's definitely a lot more like Burnt powered by Valens.
Okay.
And the reason being, they do have to be the licensed producer listed due to it being their specific license that we're using to go to market. But all the marketing, communications materials, and what a consumer would actually see would be the made by brand. And that's really the core focus that we're driving, is having that focused approach and kind of questioning, I guess, what the cannabis industry has done to date, as opposed to the need for vertical integration to have a retail entity all the way to extraction processing in-house, be the brand, be everything. We've picked the two pillars that we're best at, which is brand and hardware, and really just driven our focus from staffing, talent efforts, as well as just timing capabilities around those two pillars.
So does, and you can tell me if I'm stepping into NDA territory here.
Sure.
So does Valens Grow pay you per unit to fill your product with their product and buy your shelf space, or do you buy wholesale extract from Valens Grow and basically get whatever margin you want?
Yeah, so as far as I can go into the details, it is just a profit sharing relationship. So we both share in the revenues, profits, as well as the costs. So with that fixed structure, we're both seeing the return from whichever party's purchasing the product, if it be a retailer direct in Saskatchewan, or the government body at the AGLC, and so on.
Very egalitarian of you. Okay, so then finally, you are in the process of becoming a publicly traded entity at some point. What's the landscape look like? How much have you raised? Who are the main shareholders?
Yeah, for sure. So we actually just closed up our seed round about a month ago. So we were raising $2.5 million in equity financing, just closed out an oversubscribed round at just under $3 million. We'll be raising our Series A in Q2 of 2020. So with the execution of Made By, being able to raise some capital for additional growth. So the capital that we've already raised to date has got us to an EBITDA positive mark, and we'd be looking at that new capital for additional market entrants and so on. Some of the predominant shareholders are some of the angel groups here locally in the Toronto and GTA area, as well as some of the funds based out of Edmonton and Western Canada specifically. Our main headquarters is out of Edmonton, and we've stayed pretty true to Western Canada, aside from some of the software and marketing teams that we have here in Toronto.
Very cool. Well, congratulations on that. We'll continue to follow your story. It's very interesting, Simon. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time as well.